In this episode, we talked to Kate Christie, a time management expert, international speaker, and a best-selling author of 5 books. Kate's company, Time-Stylers, specialises in helping successful time-poor professionals and business owners manage their time smarter. She's a leading voice on productivity, goal setting, and designing your best life.
We know this will resonate with so many listeners because who doesn't find it hard to keep all the plates spinning? However, time is a finite resource, so let's discover how to focus on the things that really matter to us.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. How are you all? We're actually recording this quite quickly in succession of lots of other podcasts that we've got going on. Normally, we're kind of week by week, but we've got lots of amazing guests that we're interviewing at the moment, aren't we?
Very fortunate to get such amazing guests on, but it means that we normally start the preamble about everything we've been up to over the preceding week. But I mean, we recorded one yesterday, one the day before that. But what have we been up to?
What have we been up to? Well, actually, we've been working on lots of exciting projects. And we worked all weekend, so we do feel a little bit strung out at the moment. But looking forward, this is being recorded around Easter time, so we are looking forward to having Good Friday off. Are we going to have Good Friday off?
No, we said we're going to work Good Friday. We're just going to have Saturday and Sunday off.
Okay, so
one thing we've been working on is our new Midlife Health and Happiness quiz.
Yeah,
we're really excited about this. It's an interactive quiz you can take. It will tell you your midlife health and happiness type. You'll then get a short video giving you some recommendations, actions you can actually take. You'll get a downloadable report, and then you get the chance to look at some more training as well. It's really actionable stuff that will make a difference to your midlife health and happiness. From our approach, evidence-based. And we're so excited. We spent ages putting this together.
We've been doing it for months and months and months. We filmed a lot of it over in Ibiza, so that's how long ago it was. We've been back in London for a few months now. But yeah, if you're struggling to kind of get traction on some of the midlife challenges we all experience, then this is for you, because it will give you an understanding of where you are doing things well, but some areas where you could improve on, and then we give you actual actionable steps and strategies to walk away with on this quiz. So we spent loads of time putting it together, and we're really excited to share that with you. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can go and do it, and it's all for free, of course.
We probably could have got it together a lot faster if we'd had expertise of today's amazing
guests. Exactly. Talking about time management, which I could still do lots and lots of help with, but I'm so excited to have Kate Christie on our show today. So Kate is a time management expert, international speaker, and a best-selling author of 5 books. She's just released another one. Kate's company, Time-Stylers, specialises in helping successful, time-poor professionals and business owners manage their time smarter. She is a leading voice on productivity, goal setting, and designing your best life. Kate, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to speak to you again.
I'm so excited to talk to you guys as well. And I just love technology. I'm in Australia, you're in London. It's all great.
I know. Well, we had a chat. I don't know when it was actually. It feels like a long time ago. I think it was a month ago or something. And we just connected, like you were saying, on social media and technology. It's a beautiful thing because we just connected. I think I messaged you and I said, I love what you're doing. And then we sat on a call, which I think was supposed to be about 20 minutes, and we were just yabbiting for nearly an hour. And there was this really lovely connection. I was like, okay, we've got to have you on the podcast because, of course, at Midlife, we are massively struggling with managing our time. We are otherwise known as Generation Squeezed, right? Generation X, Generation Squeezed, because we are juggling so many balls in the air we've got probably aging parents, children, we've got financial pressures, we've got career pressures. So it's something that we come across all the time with our clients is I just don't have enough time.
Yeah. It's universal, but you're 100% right. At this age, it's compounding because we are oftentimes looking after or working with or helping aged parents. We've got our children who are still dependent, but almost not, but still want to, one foot in the door and one foot out the door. We're often at the pinnacle of our career success and career advancement. We're very committed financially. We are being pulled in so many different directions. So, a lot of my clients are coming to me at this midlife age saying, hey, listen, I need some help. Or conversely, they're coming and saying, listen, I am flying. I am at the top of my game and I am killing it. I want the extra 10%.
Yes.
Love that.
I love that. I love that.
So, Kate, can you tell us, how did you get started in this field and why? What drove you to move into time management and productivity?
I know, it's funny, isn't it? Because it's not something that we're taught. It's not something that is covered at school or at university. We're not taught it in the early parts of our career. Sometimes if you're lucky, you may have a boss who's good at it and you learn from osmosis. More and more, though, organizations now are sort of starting to invest in this as one of the top 5 soft skills that we want our employees to have. Because it can be a massive game changer from you. If you can get individuals and teams to be massively productive, then it is, a huge game changer. In terms of how I got into it, I think I was just kind of born organized. I came out of the womb with my little planner. I just was good at it. And I think that, and it's one of the things I talk to clients and my audiences about now is understand what your IP is. What are your God-given talents? What were you born good at? Because often they're the things that you don't rate or that you don't think are of value, but they're your differentiators. And, think about those things where people say, oh my God, you're so good at X. And that's often your talent or your IP. So after a while of sort of, being super organized and just having it all together and getting lots done, because when you're productive and you're good at time management, you also have all the time in the world you need. And so you get shit done. Like I get goals done all the time. And unpicking that sort of 10 years ago, probably, where people said, this is kind of like your superpower. People don't know how to do this. That was when probably about 8 to 10 years ago, I thought, hang on, look, there's a business in this, because I can teach people how to be organized, how to be productive, and morphed into making sure teams were productive. That once you get the time back, I've got a reputation for helping my clients find 30 hours of lost time a month. Once you get that time back, then what do you want to use it for? Well, you want to use it to design the best life, have incredible goals, career and personal life, and chase those down. So that's how I got into it, and it turns out that there's a lot of people who need help with time.
Yeah, because it's something we feel like we're battling with all the time. It's how many of us complain, I don't have enough time. It becomes like this enemy, doesn't it?
Well, as I say, time is the only truly finite resource, right? You can't buy more, you can't trade it. It's like your time is set. Money,
that's it. And we've all got the same, it's the equalizer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the great equalizer.
Yes.
And that's what, one of the things that I would say to your listeners right from the get-go is don't think about time as something that you can manage, for the exact reason that you guys just said, because we all have the same amount. We can't buy more, you can't steal it, you can't fast forward it, you can't rewind it. So you've got to stop thinking about time as something that you can manage, because you cannot. So I want you to shift your mindset and start thinking about time as something that needs to be invested. It's just like your money. It's a limited, very finite, incredibly precious resource. You need to invest it for the greatest possible return. So wake up and say, where am I investing my time today? Not how do I manage my time? If you had $1 million and you had the option of investing it in an account that's going to return 3% and an account that's going to return 10%, you're going to invest it in the account that returns 10%. Time is the same. Where am I going to invest it?
I love that, Kate. And can I ask you, obviously you've explained how you got into it, but why are you so passionate about this?
Oh, look, it's because I just think that it's something we can all shift the needle on really easily. We can all get time back. We all need more time. And it's something that we can, with the right strategies and the right approach and the right mindset, it's something that you can actually solve for quite easily. At a deeper kind of level, though, the reason why I'm so passionate about this was, back when I was in the corporate world and I was, climbing the ladder, and I was juggling I had 3 babies in 3.5 years, and I was trying to be the super mum and the super employee, and the juggle just became increasingly hard for me to sustain, and I wasn't doing anything particularly well. I certainly didn't feel like I was being a great mum. I didn't feel like I was being a great executive. When I was with the kids, I was thinking about work. When I was at work, I was thinking about the kids. And there was one day when it all came to a head, and I, being the super mum, I was dropping my little boy at school. I was dressed in the beautiful black suit and the high heels and the red lipstick and looked like $1 million. And it was cupcake day. Oh. And it was just like, what the hell? I didn't get that memo. And so I'm there, no cupcakes. My son was in hysterics. All the other parents are looking at me like I was, Satan. And I had
in your black suit.
Snot all the way down my suit because my son was in hysterics, and I kind of fled the scene of the crime, and drove into work, and I was thinking about like the 25 years of cupcake therapy my son was going to need, and I walked into my first meeting of the day, and I was late, and everyone around the table looked at their watch, and they looked at me, and there was this silence, and then they just kept talking, and I had this thunderbolt realization that I was the only member of the executive team that didn't have a full-time wife. And I thought, what am I doing to myself? I'm not doing any of this particularly well. And I made the decision to opt out of my brilliant career, which I loved. I loved my career. I was bloody good at it. I got a lot of self-affirmation from it. A lot of my ego was tied up in it. But I backed myself into this corner where I felt I could either be a good mum or a good exec, and I couldn't give the kids back, and I didn't want to give the kids back. And so I opted out of my career. But what I realized pretty quickly after that was, firstly, I felt unfulfilled. I wasn't loving just being a stay-at-home mum. But secondly, I had the time to kind of reframe my relationship with time and realize that if I'd made some changes, I could have done it. And so that's where my passion really comes from, Claire. To answer that question is, I don't want anyone, any woman, any man, anyone ever to feel that they have to choose between 2 things they love for want of time. And so, that's the choice I had to make. And I don't want anyone to ever have to make that choice. So that's why I'm passionate about it, because it is easy to fix.
I love it, Kate. Honestly, I've got kind of like shivers when you were explaining that. And I'm so glad that I asked that question, because I cannot tell you how many of our clients and listeners will relate with what you just said. And thank you for sharing that story. Thank you.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I tell that story sometimes when I'm speaking at events, and the number of people that come up to me, men and women, afterwards and say, oh my God, and they share their kind of their version of the cupcake story, forgetting that it was, book character day, or, dress, in the culture of your your family's culture day, and just all of the pressure that we have as working parents. It's just like, oh my God, just teach my kids how to count, just piss off. But the pressure, to do all these additional things, and we feel like we're failing, and it's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You touched on earlier, you're saying that we're not taught this skill at school or
Mm.
university or even in our careers of how to manage time. But what other reasons do you think people find it so hard to manage their time effectively or to utilize their time effectively? Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
see, you've learned already there, Jane. See,
Oh, you quick
learner.
learner. I think that the probably predominant reason is that we're creatures of habit. And you think of your audience and your listeners in this midlife space, they've had 50 plus years of living and working and behaving in a particular way. And they get up and do today the way they did yesterday and last week and last month and 20 years ago. And so it's very hard to unlearn some of those habits, some of those behaviors that we have. And the biggest irony is people will say, I just don't have time. I don't have time to do time better. And it's just like, listen to yourself, like listen to the words coming out of your mouth. You need to invest your time up front to learn the strategies. But once you learn them and you know them, and it's the same with all of the work, the beautiful work that you guys do, your audience, your clients need to invest in themselves to do the program, to do the steps, the pillars that you talk about. You're encouraging people to invest their time to make their lives better. And sometimes that's an easy message to sell, but it's surprising how hard it sometimes is to sell the message, don't you think?
Oh my goodness,
We talk about this all the time, and I think it's, people, we're so hung up. People look at the potential cost, what it's going to cost them instead of what they're going to gain, but they also completely discount the opportunity cost, the pain of staying stuck where they are. It's like thinking,
exactly.
I don't have time. My life would be so much better if I had more time, but I haven't got the time to. But the cost of staying stuck there is costing you something already. So why not invest in yourself and your growth and actually create that for yourself?
Create the change for yourself. There's actually 4 cost lenses that we need to look through when it comes to how we invest our time or not. So you've hit on 2 of them already. Financial cost. Our time is money. If some of your audience say they have an hourly rate of £50 an hour. So let's just say £50 an hour is their hourly rate. If they spend an hour a day on social media, that's £18,250 of their time a year, just in terms of what that financial cost to them is. The second cost is opportunity cost. What is the cost of the lost opportunity? What could I have done with that time? Then there's 2 additional costs. The third one is emotional cost, which must be a huge one for your clients in terms of how am I going to feel about myself if I continue to work in this way or at this pace or don't invest in myself and getting myself better. There's that emotional cost. And then there's the physical cost, which would probably be the biggest of all for your clients and your audience. Is there anything that I'm doing in the way that I'm living and the habits that I'm living by making for pain? Am I overweight because I don't exercise enough? Have I been neglecting my mental health? Am I working every hour that God sent me and I'm waking at 3:03 a.m. every night thinking what fell through the cracks? So when we choose to invest our time or not, where we have a financial cost and an opportunity cost every single time, because our time's always money and there's always something else we could have been doing. But oftentimes there's going to be an emotional and or a physical cost as well. And it's about, as an individual, understanding which of those resonates with you and looking through that lens and thinking, is this the best use of my time? And sometimes it's not.
Okay.
Love that. I love the way you've broken that down. It's so powerful.
So powerful. And it, again, resonates with the experiences that we have with our clients. So it's a really, really important, just to break those up into those different 4 elements is really, really important for people to really understand it and grasp. So what would you say, Kate, are the most common time energy zappers for people? What are they?
I think you've mentioned one.
Social media
must be a big one these days.
So what do you find people just, in your huge experience of this, what are the things that zap most people's time?
Yeah, look, social media, without question, we live in the age of information. We're constantly switched on. We're constantly accessible. If for those of your audience or people who, pick up their phone within 5-10 minutes of waking up, you've lost control of your daily agenda.
Yeah,
Straight
we
away.
say that
5 or 10 minutes.
We say
Yeah.
that
because
every time.
yeah, because it's going to be everything on your phone is someone else's to-do list.
Mhm.
Everything in your email is someone else's to-do list. None of that's, hey, have a great day, you're the best, knock it out of the park. It's I want, I need, where is, can you? So I think that social media is terrible. I think people's addiction to their devices. I think the amount of time we're spending in email, middle managers are spending 2 full days just reading and responding to emails. That's 2 out of 5 days a week, just reading and responding to emails.
Oh my God.
I think in terms of behaviors, there's kind of 3 key problems that I see all the time. The first is that we don't plan properly. We don't have that big 5-year life list plan of everything, my goals, what do I want to achieve? We just let life happen to us. And we need to have that big plan so that we can then break that down into an annual plan, quarterly, monthly, weekly, today. So we need to learn how to plan properly. The second thing is that we don't control the agenda. Regardless of where you are in the hierarchy of your business or your organization, you have control over elements of your day, and you need to exert control. Things like boundaries, how to say no, when to say yes, how to say yes. And the third thing is focus. We just don't focus on the right tasks at the right time. So many people will start their day creating a to-do list. I mean, what the hell, your mornings are sacred. They're the best, most energetic, impactful parts of your day. We need to be doing our highest value, hardest tasks in the morning. Create your to-do list the night before and then do your hard stuff in the morning. Do your easier, process-driven, lower value tasks in the afternoon when you're tired. But the morning should be your revenue-generating, high-impact, hard tasks. So focus on the right stuff at the right time. The key thing, I guess, in terms of just one little habit is our propensity to multitask. It is crazy. And, when we multitask, our productivity goes down by 40%.
Yeah.
40%. Multitasking can be as simple as, being on a call and your emails are flashing in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Your eyes are going up and you're thinking, oh, what does Claire want? Oh,
Yeah.
you're multitasking. It could be having multiple tabs open. It could be having your phone buzzing in your pocket when you're in a meeting. Every single time someone interrupts you, you're forcing yourself to multitask or switch task. Now, most people operate in a sense of multitask all day. So at best, we're working to 60% of our productivity every single day. And the only solution to this one is to single task, one thing at a time.
I love this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Kate, but I heard this came out of basically when computers came along and people looked at computers, they've got processors, they can do multiple processes at the same time. If humans did that, it would be so much more efficient. But actually what we've learned, the human brain is not constructed and wired that way. So we're much
That's
better,
right.
as you say, like single focus, moving from one task to the next, rather than trying to do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Our productivity goes down by 40%. I'm going to prove this to you, and I'm going to prove it to your listeners. We're going to play a little game. Everyone can play along. Everyone can play along.
I wasn't expecting this, Kate, so this is good.
I know. This is so good.
Lovely.
So, when I say go, the two of you and then all your listeners at home, you're going to count out loud from number 1 through to 26, saying every single number as fast as you can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 to 26. Ready, set, go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
I found that hard because you were in my head.
So good. I know, right? Because you were multitasking.
I'm always in your head there.
All right. Second round. This time you're going to do the full alphabet as fast as you can out loud. Go.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Okay. This time you're going to go 1, A, 2, B, 3, C, all the way through to 26, Z. Go.
1A2B3C4D5E6. Hey, stop distracting me.
Distracting me.
Hey, we cannot multitask.
Listeners,
When you just had to do numbers, you killed it.
Yeah.
When you just had to do letters, you killed it. When you forced your brain to try and quickly switch from a number to a letter and then switch back to a number, then switch to a letter, we get to like 3C and we're like, oh, you know, I'm the only one who doesn't know how to do this.
James is going to be competitive with me now, saying, "Oh, I got to
nearly 7."
Oh, he's so competitive.
You so did not.
Not, did he, Kate? Did he listen?
I mean,
You heard him.
it just proves really simply that we can't multitask. About 2% of the world's population can effectively multitask, but they're so rare, they're called super taskers. And they've been proven to be able to, as more tasks are thrown at them, their brain settles. But it's 2% of the world's population. It's not me, it's not you guys, it's, you know, the researchers know these people. So we just can't do it. And so one task at a time. We're not computers. We can't have multiple tabs open at the same time. We cannot be toggling on our phone, making sense on a phone call and writing the annual report. The only, I guess, exception to the rule is lower value tasks. So if you can make the spaghetti bolognese while you're yelling at the kids and vacuuming the floor and kicking the dog and painting the fence, knock yourself out, because it doesn't require your best strategic brain.
Yeah.
But for your impactful, high value, revenue generating tasks, one thing at a time.
Okay. Well, that's a massive strategy for listeners to take away. But what are some of the other strategies that you recommend for people to utilize their time more effectively?
Yeah, so look, you know, plan in the evening, have a master to-do list for the week, and get everything out of your brain onto that list, because your brain is for strategy, it's not for storage. So get it all out of your brain and onto paper. From that list, you're going to pick the 2 or 3 most important high value tasks to do on a Monday morning, and then lock them into your calendar as a deadline, because our brain loves deadlines. There's an economic theory called Parkinson's law, which you may or may not have heard of, but when I tell you what it is, you're going to know it. Parkinson's law is the theory that a task will expand to fill the time made available for it.
Yes.
You've got a month to write the report. It's going to take you a month to write the report. You've got 2 days. It's going to take you 2 days. If you don't have a deadline, you are not going to write the report.
Well, we've just
looking at each other like, oh,
yeah, the reason we're looking at each other like this, Kate, is because we had a project that had a deadline. We have been trying to do this project for 5 years, actually, but someone gave us a deadline, and we needed to hit that deadline, because if we didn't, that opportunity was going to fall by the wayside. So we have done that project in about 10 days. So
yeah.
it's 10 days.
You know, it's actually taken you 5 years and 10 days.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so set the deadline and do it. You know, just do it.
Yes.
So, you know, I love deadlines. I think there's 2 different types of deadlines. There's the externally imposed deadline, where a client says, I want it by this date, or your boss says, I want it by this date. They're the easy ones to meet, because there's consequences if you don't meet them. Like this scenario you just said, you're going to lose the opportunity. All of the other deadlines, the vast majority, are deadlines we have to impose on ourselves. They're, you know, I call them internal deadlines, and they're the hardest to meet, because there's no consequences if we don't.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of work out ways to keep yourself accountable, you know, and maybe you share the information with your boss and say, listen, you know, there's no deadline on this, but I'm letting you know I'll be delivering it next Friday. Or share it with your colleagues, share it with your partner, share it with your peers, put it on social media, you know, whatever works for you. But if you can in some way turn an internal deadline into an external one, it becomes a lot easier for you to meet them.
It's that accountability piece, isn't it? We talk about, it's one of our 6 pillars of the midlife health and happiness. Yeah. It's accountability, because once you've said that to someone, I am doing this, you're way more invested in it, and your brain, everything is like, okay, that's it, let's go.
Are we
Well,
sometimes?
because we're more prepared to let ourselves down than let other people down.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
If you have that sense of external accountability, it's why, do a group program with other people, because you're more likely to turn up. You're more likely to excel and be a little bit competitive. Never sort of start trying to jog on your own. Have your mate that you meet for the jog, because you've got to turn up, because you don't want to let them down. Accountability is so critical.
So critical.
One thing we sometimes do, if we've got something we know we might struggle with, is also give ourselves like a reward, that if we hit that deadline and deliver, then we get to do this thing. But if we don't, then that's gone. We don't get to do it. So that's quite a motivator in itself.
Yeah.
It really is. I love that strategy, and I think that if you work in bursts, like, so your day is, I talk about your day being a series of 100-meter sprints. It's not a marathon. So sprint for like 45 minutes and then give yourself a break, and the break is a bit of a reward. Go and go for a nice walk, or have a swim, or go and have a hot chocolate, or whatever the case may be. You've got to break that day up into sprints and then reward yourself along the way. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
guess it's where discipline comes in. I do this if I'm like got a project where I've got to focus, like writing something. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go at this. Once I've got to the certain point in it, then I'll allow myself to have 10 minutes, go on the internet, like read the news or whatever. Then I'm back to it. And I find that works really well for me.
Yeah, it's something that, again, because we're creatures of habit, and it's muscle memory. Our parents gave us a gold star for cleaning our room, and if you had 10 gold stars by the end of the week, you got an ice cream. We kind of, there's muscle memory in those sorts of very simple rewards that help keep us on track. And I think if you find something that works for you and keeps you accountable to yourself, then knock yourself out. It's great.
I should do that for you, gold stars, and then give you an ice cream.
Now, there's going to be consequences for you if you don't hit deadlines.
No one wants to listen to that. That sounded rather sordid, to be honest.
Have the ice cream, thanks.
Exactly. So, Kate, lovely Kate, what is next for you? What's next for you? Tell us what you've been up to, as well. Some more recent stuff that I've seen all over the internet, which is exciting. And then what's next for you?
Yeah, so look, I've just launched my 5th book, which is a sort of a natural progression from my other work, which has always been around time management and productivity, and this concept of how do you get your time back. And now that you've got your time back, what are you going to do with it? I don't want you to just respond to another 80 emails and, vacuum the house and do another 30 loads of washing. We have to set goals and live a really intentional, amazing life. And I'm really big on this from a midlife perspective. We've worked hard. We've worked really hard. We are at the top of our game. When you think of just, say, women in their 50s, we're the fittest, healthiest, most educated, most successful generation of women in our 50s ever. Mm-hmm. And we've spent decades nurturing everybody else, and it's our turn. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a book, my 5th book. It's called, I'll hold it up, it's called The Life List.
Yeah, love it.
And it's really around, it's the exact opposite of a bucket list. A bucket list is, what do I want to do before I die? This is, I don't want to wait that long. A life list is, what do I want to do while I'm still young enough to enjoy it? And so what's next for me is, obviously I'm promoting and selling the book, but I'm moving to Bali I'm going to Bali for 7 weeks mid-year to sort of do a digital nomad piece on my own. I'm not going with the kids.
I love this.
Wow, amazing.
And then while I'm there, I'm learning to surf, because I've always wanted to surf, and my kids surf, and I was always really self-conscious, and people will be watching me, and what do I look like in my betas, or what will I look like, and I'm 53, and I'm like, I don't care.
No.
I finally realized no one's actually watching me, so I'm going to go and do all this awesome stuff. So that's July, that's coming up. I'm cold water swimming every day. I've walked the Larapinta Trail. I'm doing heaps. I'm doing lots and lots of stuff, and it's exciting.
I know you are.
It's so awesome. And I'd love 7 weeks in Bali.
I know, to surf. Well, he surfs anyway, but surfing's not really one of my things. But
Well, get you learning. Bali is a great place to learn. Warm water, you know.
Do you know what I love about you, Kate? Like from when we first spoke, across the miles, the many, many miles, was just how much energy, vibrancy, enthusiasm for life you have. It's utterly infectious. And I love that you have this book to really inspire people on a journey of self-discovery, on a journey of like living their life to the absolute max. And like you said, it's not a bucket list, it's like do it now. Because with time, because relating to your other books, time is not something we're going to get back. Time is finite, and it goes like that. It's going, it gets faster all the time.
Yeah. And look, we just, you know, I wrote the book, you know, as you know, Claire, my marriage broke down about 5 years ago. And then as we came into COVID in Melbourne, and Melbourne went into lockdown in March 2020, in April 2020, my ex-husband, you know, of 22 years, father of our 3 beautiful children, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And within 11 months, he'd passed away, and he was 54. And, you know, this book is almost his gift to me in terms of, you know, do not leave anything till later. You know, later might be too late. I turned 53 this week, and there's so much I want to do. And the thought that I could be diagnosed with such an awful illness and pass away myself at 54 is horrifying. And so more than anything, it's a call to action for me. It's a call to action for other people of our age to make the most of every moment right now. You know, life is amazing, and do it now. Don't put it off till later.
I got tearful listening to that. Really I really did. And
what a beautiful reason for bringing that book to the world as a gift for everyone else to realise to get the most from the time that they have.
Kate, beautiful. Now listen, where can people, obviously I'm going to put the link to, I'll speak to you about the proper links to put in the show notes. We're going to put those in the show notes, but just let people know where they can find more out about what you're doing, the life list, everything. How can they find it?
So just Google my name, Kate Christie. My website is katechristie.com.au, being in Australia. But it'll, you know, put it in the show notes is wonderful. Thank you so much. But if they just Google my name and time management, you'll find me.
Kate, honestly,
it's been such a pleasure talking to you. And like Claire said, your energy is infectious.
Isn't she just wonderful?
Thank you so
wonderful.
much.
I was saying to James, we've got to have her on the show. We really. She's just fabulous. So inspiring and so uplifting, Kate.
Thank you. It's so great talking to you. And you know what we need to plan next is I need to come to Spain and work with you in Spain. I'm going to add that to my life list.
Let's do it.
Add it to your life list. Of course you do. We'll definitely find a way to make that happen, darling.
I've put it out to the universe now. Kate's going to Ibiza.
We'll take you clubbing. That should be on.
Oh my God, that's like my worst nightmare.
It's ours as well, to be quite honest with you. We haven't been clubbing for years. Right, anyway, Kate, thank you so much for being here, and we're sending you so much love. Mwah.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you, so drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.